do a multi. There we go. Then record on Zoom.
Recording in progress.
And then, are we ready?
Yep.
To go live. Just let me check that is there. Yeah, that's still there. All good. Working on your live stream. I think we might be nearly there.
Great stuff.
Okay, it says we're live. So, awesome. So, hi, Ashley.
Hi, Kat.
We got no idea what we're going to talk about, but we were just showing up and going with the flow, aren't we, of whatever is coming up. We both know that lots of us are experiencing different things right now, and all of that. World's a bit crazy at times.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, going with what we feel is the thing that we want to talk about today. Being together in the space, authentically us.
Absolutely, and having a good, as you say, hearts connected conversation. I suppose I hope you don't mind me starting with
No,
maybe
crack on.
where I became aware of yourself, and it's through an amazing, amazing lady. Obviously, you know who I'm talking about, and that's,
Yeah.
I hope I'm saying it right, Noon.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got it right. Okay, and she was just putting some absolutely amazing. It was like a friend of a friend. These epic, epic posts up on Facebook, and all about the common law and all of this. And I thought, you know what, I want to find out a bit more about that. And she quite kindly had offered to point, a group of people. It was a post, but a lot of people would like to learn more. And I added myself to that email list and went, let's use it. Down the rabbit hole, many rabbit holes last year and this year.
Yeah.
And it was all just amazing information. And I suppose then where I became aware of yourself, over the summertime there, I had a bit of a funky moment or a few bad weeks, and I wasn't feeling great. I really wasn't feeling myself at all. And Noon had, out of the blue, just messaged me and said, would you like to come on a tap in Zoom on Friday night? And I was like, yeah, nothing better to do, absolutely. So I didn't really know much about, I've
EFT.
heard of it, obviously, but I went on the Friday evening, and I kept it up for the 21 days because I was getting such a benefit. You kindly give up again your time, your energy. This was all for free, and went through the practices. I think it's somewhere on your YouTubes, and I was actually quite surprised at how instant the relief was.
Yeah.
Kind of instant.
Yeah.
And it really got rid of some, triggers or pent up stuff in the body. So I don't know, it really helped me, and thank you so much. And this is how we're
You're welcome.
connected.
Yeah.
If you want to expand on the tapping, then I'm sure people would love to know more.
Yeah, well, basically what we did was so it's EFT, emotional freedom technique, and we did a 21-day tapping challenge, didn't we? Which is it's still available on my website as a free gift for anybody who wants to do it. And yeah, because I found that I am a practitioner of that now, but because I had the same as you, Ashley, I came to it a few years ago. Really because I'd come to a, like you say, I call it crunchy now, a crunchy time in my life. Yeah, where things were coming up, and I just felt like my life was quite chaotic. There was a lot of trauma. There was a lot of cycles of destructive behaviour, really, and very much the victim. But I wanted to. I've always been interested in like alternative ways of doing things, and my own personal experience sort of took me on this journey, which is what many are experiencing at an accelerated rate of this now, aren't they? And EFT, it was really because I was looking for something to bring myself relief, and it part of my spiritual journey, and where I was learning and sort of learning about myself, personal development. I went along that path, did all manner of courses and stuff like that, and even went off the more spiritual path, even though it's part of me, it's who I am, did sort of veer off that for a little while, because the way in which it had been described at the time, or the way it came across to me, and I know now it was all perfect, it was all perfectly aligned for where we are now, is sort of went off that path a little bit. But anyway, was looking for something. It came up as a means to relieve some of the things that I was going through myself. And what I love so much about it is that you can do it for yourself. So I needed counselling, I needed some help, felt like I needed some help at that time in my life, and the lists were so long, or couldn't afford it, or whatever the reason, and then found this, and like you said, it just brought me instant relief. And it was something that, and you can do it for anything and everything, because what it does is changes the fight, flight and freeze response with the amygdala in the brain. I do a lot of teaching about this in my courses, and obviously the things that I offer. But for me, and for my kids, for my family, and anyone else that I've worked with, like you said, it's just been amazing. It's been amazing. It's been transformative, because what it does is brings you into the present moment, brings you into the moment, back to your own heart, and noticing what's happening in your body, noticing what's happening with your emotions, where you might be feeling it, where something might be crunchy or off, or whatever. It's a practice, like with any of the other practices, meditation, anything. It's a focus back into me, for the individual, to you. And I started teaching it and sharing it because of that instant relief, and because times are so bloody chaotic and crazy right now, that we all need tools in our toolkit to help us be more present with ourselves, and to release. And also, time is speeding up and all of that, so it's a perfect way to bring you focus into and work with your body and yourself of what's coming up. Our bodies know what they're doing, don't they? Our bodies know what they're doing. It's just that we've been in resistance, and in these perpetual cycles of quite often destructive, negative behaviours, because we've been in fight or flight for such a long time. So for me, that's what, I just think it's awesome. And that 21, when you do things for 21 days, which is why I offer it as that sort of challenge, that gives you the opportunity to do that reprogramming. It's a commitment to yourself as well. That 10 minutes, whatever it was, I think it was 8 minutes, isn't it, that one that we did?
Yeah.
8 minutes a day, just following following it, and then you can develop it for yourself, and you chuck your own language in and all of that. And what I found amazing was, because we had a bit of a chat about it, didn't we, in the Telegram groups, and when we do it like that collectively at the same time, we quite often notice that similar things are coming up for us at the same time. So we went through a period of time where people were experiencing feelings of guilt and shame, even though that's not what it was really for. That's what was coming up for people. And so I remember chucking in a little message in there saying, if this is coming up for you now, it's okay, go with it, allow it, use the language and the words of whatever feels right for you. So yeah, that's why I love it. And it was so great, to do that with all of you guys. And it's, we're going to be doing another one soon. We're doing a Feel Good Friday one that is starting on the 12th of oh God, what month are we in? November.
Just after
12th of November. We're going to do it as a weekly thing, where people can, we can come together in a nice, sacred held space, do that together, have a blast, get empowered, start shifting the patterns, and then connect again each week if that's what is aligned for people to do. So it's really cool. I love it. And then people can go off and use it in their own way. A tool's only useful for as long as it's useful for, and then there's usually something else that presents itself and helps you along in a different way, eh?
Oh, absolutely. I really got the benefit, and it was funny. I actually found myself doing it naturally. Not that I had sat down with the intention of using the tool. was yesterday. I have a lot of business stuff, a lot of events and things, and I was a bit stressed putting things together yesterday. And I found myself, I literally just naturally, I was in my kitchen and I was doing this, and then I was like, oh, look what I'm doing. I'm doing that. To the EFT.
Yeah,
So I thought that was amusing. I was like, oh, wow, when you
yeah,
need it, it's there.
yeah. Well, that's it, because your body, if you do it for, as you do it as a practice for the 21 days, it's almost like you embody it, and you just, your body goes, oh yeah, I know what to do to relieve myself, and it becomes natural. I know
Yeah.
that because the setup phrase that we use is on the chopping point, and we say, even though I feel so 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 so, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And I find that I say even though when I'm talking all the
Oh,
time.
yeah, right.
And I know that,
It's weaving its way in there.
yeah, yeah, and I know that Sarah, who joined us at the time doing the 21-day challenge, is she says, any time she'll go, she said, you're in my head going, even though.
Your voice, your particular voice, sound effect.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
that's
wow.
it, that's it. But it's her voice. It's her voice too, in her mind. That's what it
Yeah.
is for all of us. Yeah.
Oh,
So you've got an event coming up, haven't you?
oh, I've loads. I'm swamped at the minute. It's kind of like that thing where, be careful what you wish for.
Mm.
Because, I've lots of plans. I'm a very forward thinking kind of person. I suppose it's just sure the tiniest bit about myself. Obviously I'm actually Tier. I'm a spiritual medium clinical hypnotherapist and just all around spiritual junkie, self help, personal development, love it all. Forever doing courses. Anyway, get back around to it. I feel like I was actually thinking about this today. Hmm. Okay, so I'll give you the example I saw today, and this is by no means judging anybody other's life or experience, or how much trauma that they have had. And I noticed that, hmm, what way would I put it? I'm trying to put this the best possible way. There is certain people that I have saw that have been, let's say, privileged, or led a very, let's just say, normal life, and there's nothing wrong with that, and that they're happy to go along with things as they are. That's grand. But I particularly noticed was a girl, obviously I'm not mentioning any names, that I'm aware of, and I know that she's been through a really, really difficult time, and she is just so, um, there's like a spark in her. She's so ambitious. I'm gonna do more, and I'm gonna work harder, and I'm gonna, and I just recognized that energy, and I just thought to myself, the trauma and the trouble and the strife that you've been through has lit something in you to want more, to do more, to go further than your average person. And I just thought, yeah. And when I look back at my life and all the trauma, the childhood trauma, which was a lot, domestic violence, all of the whole, all of it, I think to myself, I would, and it's hard cliche to say, but I wouldn't be the person I am today. I remember thinking when I was quite young, I would happily be a housewife. I just want to be a housewife. And that is like, wow, the furthest thing I could think of today.
Mm.
And I do believe it's born of the experience of the trauma. It does something for it. Like I said, when I recognized it in that girl, do more, um, go to bed earlier, get up earlier, stay later with projects. Do you know what I mean? It just lights this sort of fire and spark in you to just aspire
Mm.
to live a better life. It's the only, and I recognize that in actually so many other people who, okay, there's obviously the route that people can go down with trauma, or sorry, addiction, things like that, which is quite common. But then there's also where it's like it just lights something like the phoenix, so to speak, and it really pushes people in their life purpose. So back to me. Yeah, where were we? Yeah, I've loads of a few different events, on mediumship events, obviously in Ireland, and I've just put out literally there today because we've been myself, my two colleagues, it's two other fabulous mediums, psychics, healers. The ladies, there are a multitude of things that we're meticulously have went through everything, and it needs to be just right because that's the way to do things. So it's just been released today, and that's going to be a spiritual retreat, so in Ireland, in Oma, so really excited about that.
Yeah, yeah, awesome. And we'll put some links in put some links in our in the vid of where to find more info about that, which is really cool. I just want to speak to what you just said about do more, be more, want more, and because I feel at the moment it's like you said you did a lovely little live the other day about where you're placing your focus, because there's so much crazy going on right now, and we have almost, that trauma response of needing to be somewhere else, something else, more of, have more. There is the sort of phoenix thing of rising and taking the opportunities, but there's also that thing of it's taking you away from, just like the addictions, the addictive behaviors, the distractions, everything that takes you away from actually just being in flow and being aligned with who we are. And it's all noise and distraction, and there's so much of it right now. And like you said, I loved that, because you were having a walk, weren't you, in the park, and you do you want to share that here, because I just think it goes back to what you were just saying as well, which is amazing, because it is where we're putting our focus. And back to then with what the EFT, with when I said of using that, it brings us back into what we're feeling, what feels aligned for us, what is in flow for us, what resonates with us, and what's happening in our personal reality right now, because there's so much noise and so much chaos, but it's all out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what the funny thing is, Kaz? That one that you have seen, that's actually a year old. It was a
Oh
memory.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's still relevant.
It
It's still
is.
relevant
It
today.
really is. Yeah. Yeah. I'm finding that. God, I just got goosebumps, because I'm finding that with some of the things that I did last year. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah,
See?
we're
Completely.
resharing them, and they're still relevant. Um, because that's another thing that I'm very much drawn to, and is just making like these little spiritual videos. I love spirituality. I love philosophy, and it's strange. I can sort of situations will happen around me, and I'll be in the moment, but I'm also very aware that there's like this dual consciousness thing going on,
Yeah.
where like it's either my spirit team, my higher self. To be honest, I'm not particularly aware, but I'm definitely, this other higher energy is here, and they're telling me the benefit of the experience or the lesson, and I'm like, oh wow, that's fascinating. That would make a good video.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I just, make them, put them out. For me, it was no particular reason. I was like, well, I don't really know if these are helping anybody or not, and whatever. But I was at an event. I go to a lot of events myself as well, and I was in the audience there on the day before the 29th. It was a Thursday, because it was my birthday the next day. I got a message,
Oh.
a mediumship event, and a lady walked up to me and she said, I was really taken aback. She goes, "Oh, I loved your poem." And I went, "What poem?" I found the clue. And she went, "Oh, I went and saw you. You were at Belfast Baptist Church, and you recited Invictus. I thought you meant one of the videos." And she went, "That really inspired me, and I sent that to all my friends." And I was like, "Wow, that's really nice." Because to me, I just put things out and see where the cards may lay, whatever, just putting it out there. But it was lovely for somebody to come up to me and say, "You know what, I really love that really helped me."
Yeah.
And I suppose
Beautiful.
I hope the videos as well. It was just about giving that. I'll just give a little snippet of, I'll not recite the whole video, but
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
about me sitting in the house, and look, nobody's perfect, so I'm sitting there. I was off for a week or two for whatever, I think it was lockdown, and I just got really, well, number one, bored. But then when I get bored, I was like, right, what do I want to eat too much. I want to eat junk food. I want to drink. And I was like, oh, I need that. It's really annoying me, my headspace that I'm in. So I went out for a walk, and lovely walk, the breeze, everything was great. And then in the side of my awareness in this park, there was a couple arguing. And as I say, they weren't hitting each other, but they were screaming. They were having a, and I was just like, look, I can choose to focus here, annoy myself, really, have my nervous system on high alert, or I can choose to just tune in to the breeze and the trees and the leaves. Oh, it was gorgeous, and that's what I did. And do you know what? It was so funny. It kind of like they like blanked out of my walk. I walked, And even the noise started to fade away when I went, no, I'm choosing where I'm focusing now. So yeah, that was just with wee videos, and putting it out there. But yes, as you say, it's still relevant, and I'm sure as is your stuff that you're
Well,
resharing now.
well, yeah, but and because that's brings it back to choice. It's choice in every moment, and you can choose again. In in every breath and every moment, you can choose again. And it's like you said, you would recognize within yourself a pattern of behavior where it's seemingly boredom setting in, but actually connecting with yourself and your body. What do I need? I need to go out for a walk. And then you're noticing the things that happen around you, but then choosing to bring your attention back to yourself and nature and what's going around, the beautiful parts of it. You don't, and giving yourself what you need in that moment. It's all just that's the best thing that I would say to anyone right now, is to tune in with yourself and your own body and give yourself what you need. I say to my kids, what do you need? And then now they have, over the past few years since learning this for myself, they will ask themselves, what do I need? It's not always it's not, everything outside of us is noise and distraction. And if we are being triggered, it's a gift. I said to Kira yesterday, actually, I said, if you could think about all of the triggers, let's say, or these people that perhaps have been unkind or derogatory or negative to you and behaving in a it's their behavior. It's behaving in an unkind way, but if we know that everything is a reflection of something that's unhealed within us, then what they're actually giving you, I was saying, if you can picture it in your mind. I do hypnotherapy too, so do a lot with visualization and meditation and relaxation practices. But if you picture in your mind that they're actually giving you a gift, it could be a box, it could be wrapped up in whatever you want, and you unwrap the gift, and it this whatever demon or load of shit comes up and smacks you in the face, and but if you can look at that and go, oh, and be grateful for the gift, because it's what it is showing you how to something that's not healed within you, something that's not quite right, something that's off balance. They're giving you a box. It's there for you to look at it, for you to see it. And if you receive it with love and gratitude and say, what do I need? What do I need to do to make this feel good? And if you receive it with love and gratitude, have you seen the film Soul, Disney?
No, I haven't.
Soul.
A lot of people say about that.
Yeah,
yeah. Around it.
Yeah, it's really cool. But I don't even know why that's just come into my mind, actually. But it's just about the gift of seeing one, the reflection. Quite often people are showing us a reflection of something that we need to see within us, which again is with the EFT is, even though I'm feeling this emotion, even though I've been given what we could consider a gift of of a trigger, even though I'm feeling this emotion, even though I'm feeling this physical discomfort, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. I deeply and completely love and accept this gift that you have given me, in whatever way it's wrapped. Rather than hating on the person and being the victim of that, it's thank you. Thank you for the gift. Unwrap it, look at it, see what it is, and then love it. Give it love. Bring love and gratitude to it. And I just think that was literally only yesterday that I was talking to her about things that she's moving through in her life, because of course our kids are, they're living through the crazy too. We all are right now, and it is crazy, and it can feel heavy and distracting, but everything. In a couple of my other videos as well, we talked about everything coming up to be seen. We're being given these gifts more and more often. We're being showered with them.
Send them back.
It's Christmas is coming. all the gifts. But the more you resist them, the more you do send them back, they're just going to come back. They're going to come back, and
Here.
here you go. They'll just come back in a different form. You know, maybe a bigger gift until you just. Oh, that's why I was saying about soul, because they basically the insecurities, those triggers, those some will call them entities. I know, you know, Noon would speak about entities. Um, but we basically take them on and take them on and take them on and take them on until they become big, so much bigger than us. And we're the diamond at the center of all of this, of what we've been told or programmed, or, you know, um, our insecurities, whatever it is, that it's all untrue, because it's not who we are. It's not, you know, we're all amazing beings, and, you know, warriors, or, you know, whatever you want to call it. You know, we've all chosen to be here, haven't we, at this time, to experience this massive shift of consciousness that's happening. And, you know, so it is all gifts. We're being showered with them.
Oh my goodness.
Huge big shower of shit.
Shit. It's so funny. It's reminding me of a comment that a friend of mine made. She's like a cosmic lady, you know, very connected to, you know, the galactic and stuff. And she literally went, see this 2021. You know, I'm not coming back again. I've had enough of this, you know, she means in the past, just had enough.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not coming back.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah.
She's had
Yeah.
enough of this. She's had enough of the crazy, but
Um.
it's had to be this amplified and amplified up. You know, it's because exactly what you were saying. If people either aren't getting it, or they're choosing to do the same things, or they're choosing to not live in their truth or their alignment, then this stuff. Let's use me for an example. I think I've used this one before. I I had a partner, and well, I'll not give names. That's not really relevant. I had a partner. It was a very you know, abusive, emotionally, physically, mentally, all of that stuff, relationship for a matter of years. And I didn't learn my lesson, because in that relationship, I was jealous, I was insecure from all of my childhood stuff. And I continued on my cycles of, you know, I had a drink problem, and it was just so lost, low self esteem, self worth, all of that stuff. And I met a new guy, and his name was the same name with the same characteristics. And I went, you know, and then literally, well, that one escalated to the point where, let's just say, you know, there's court cases, and you know that person tried to take my life. But I then again met a new guy, same name, same characteristics, and I went, oh my god, what is going on? What am I so stupid? Like, stop this, get off the crazy train, jealousy, insecurity, intensity, all of this stuff. And I literally stopped that relationship dead. But it's about that you're saying about that, you know, the gift, you know, all of that, those terrible experiences and relationships. But I wasn't seeing it. I was in denial. My friends, my family, everybody could see it. They were trying to tell me, and I was making it that they were jealous of me, my relationship, and they didn't want me to. Oh my God, all of this such backward thinking, victim mentality, blame everybody else. And I suppose the most epic thing that I have learned on my spiritual and, you know, just personal development journey is just personal responsibility.
Mm.
That is just so important to me now, and my mindset, and how I look at things. And I actually have a video. It's not released yet, but it's shot and whatever, and it goes into, it's just it fascinates me. I was at an event recently, and there's lots of different people networking, business people, whatever. And there's a person that I know, and I know them very well, and I know their behavior, and I could hear them. We were at a table, and I could hear them chatting with other people, and they were saying, oh, I'm so this and I'm so that, and they were giving all these characteristics, and I'm this way and I'm this way, and blah 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 blah. And I was just looking and thinking to myself, I know them well, and how they behave is the polar opposite of what they were saying. I was like, this is really interesting. What are they doing? Are they lying? Are they in denial? Are they unaware? Are they manipulating? What is going on here? So I'm sitting, just thinking, pondering, will I call them out? And I sat and thought about it and went, no, that's not fair. That'll embarrass them. We're out for an event here. Anyway, the next day I kept going over in my mind. It was like, I can't believe they were saying all that. It was just epic lies. And then I go, is this person delusional? It was all, oh, I was trying to figure this out and figure it out. And then I just had this awareness come around me and say, but what lesson are you going to take from that? Me.
Mm.
And I was like, right, okay. So then I had to really look at myself and take inventory of, well, I definitely do not go and tell people fantasies. I definitely don't. But I was like, well, where do you embellish stories? Where do you, you know, make it bigger than it was? Or where do you, and I had to sort of sit with myself and really look at my psychology and how I tick in the world. But people don't understand, this person to me was in this narcissistic bubble and, like a fantasy island. But I went, but that's okay. People can do them. I'm not telling anybody to live their life. But truth is important to me, and the lesson that I can take from this, let me look at myself, let me look at how I speak to people, how I share, and take inventory of me, and that'll keep me right. Because it always comes back to us.
It does. And it being authentic, being authentic and real about who you are. And that has been, that even doing these videos and stuff for me has been a massive journey of self-judgment, of worrying what other people think, and all of that you've got to be and do things a certain way, and and just codependent patterns for me, of that was my coping mechanism, if you like, and I didn't even know it was a thing until an experience woke me up to, or my awareness shifted that, okay, actually, I was looking up for how to support my compulsive gambler husband at the time. Things had blown up, and so I was looking up how to support him, and it was just like a switch. And this is what happens for all of us. It's usually some element of trauma that wakes us up to something that's out of balance, or something that we need to learn about ourselves. It's like you said, we go round and round in the same repetitive cycles until we get to a point of a wake-up call or an awakening, or some sort of, it's usually a traumatic event, isn't it, in our life, where you go, something like you said, that those patterns of abuse, repeating the same relationships, the same things, and actually by allowing yourself to stay in that, it's self-abuse. Like you said, there's that personal responsibility. We're allowing that behavior. And so when I came to that point of looking up how to help, how to help someone that I loved deeply, it was actually the best thing that you can do to support them is to do you. And I was like, whoa, hang on a minute. And then it took me on this whole path of learning about codependency, and that actually that had gone through my childhood. And codependency is another addiction. It's another distraction from that takes you away from, or it makes you put everybody else's needs before your own. It makes you feel like the answers are all outside there, and your value and your worth are all in someone else's hands. And so you do have low self-esteem and lack of self-worth, and need that validation from others or from something outside of you, just to make you feel any sense of love and care for yourself. And so that's a massive lesson. And I think with all of this, with the truth, anything that's untrue is coming up to be seen, and its time is speeding up, and with the there's so much to it. But when you just bring it right back down to, what do I need? What do I need? Because the only person that we're responsible for is us. I thought I was responsible for everyone else's happiness, and it's the biggest lie that I ever allowed myself to be programmed with, I suppose. But I didn't know any better. I was repeating patterns and cycles of behaviour from my parents, and we were all born into the world as it's been. But now, every opportunity, every trigger is a gift, Like I say, there's the bigger thing to it about timelines merging and the massive, the consciousness stuff that can get a little bit mind blowing and overwhelming. But if you just pay attention to what's happening for yourself in your own resonance, make your choices and decisions from your heart as authentically you, of what feels good and right for you. It's the best thing that you can do for yourself. And that's when, like you said, that's when you start noticing the cycles, realize where you feel crunchy or out of alignment, and then you come back in, and things start to change then, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And even to pick up on, it is about like, it's cliche to say like that self-care, that self-love. But in regards to what I mean by that is, mm, again, I'll use myself as an example. I have had to have stricter boundaries. In fact, before I had no boundaries, zero.
Yeah.
If anybody asked me to do anything, especially, let's say, for example, family, friends, I was the yes person. I had no self-worth other than what I could do for other people. I could do things quite well, whatever it was, I could usually do it, but I mean, that wasn't the point, and recently there's been, say, two different cases of where certain behavior or people around me, either with them not being truthful or with their behavioral patterns, I would have, my past self, I would have just taken that and just still been involved with them. But now I'm, stronger. I'm a different person. I'm not saying that's easy when
Mm.
you have to either cut people off or you have to move away from people. But I just bring it back to, I simply will not be treated the way you're treating me. Your
Mm.
behavior, your words, your actions, your gaslighting, whatever you're doing, I care too much about me to be around this anymore.
Yeah.
And that it's about then. And if I think back to then to who I was previously, I'd have just taken it, keep taking it, don't care about myself, whatever. I don't mean anything, no self worth. But now I'm like, no, do you know what? No, I'm going to look after
Mm.
myself.
Mm.
And I think it's about being in that synergy with sort of your higher self, your higher guidance. There are a couple of two different times, but there was a more recent one where it was literally, if you continue associating with this said person, nothing is going to change. It's going to get worse. And I got the same message with the previous person, and it was painful to just, put
Mm.
them to the side. And it happened again. And I says, painful as it is, I know if I continue down said path with said person, things will happen. It's like that. You get your warning signs, and if you don't listen to these warning signs, things are going to escalate. And this person's not going to change because they're not willing to look at their stuff.
Mm.
So it's about me learning those lessons and having to implement them. They're not always easy, but it just has to be done.
Yeah, it does, because it's the most challenging thing to do. It is, and I don't even like calling them boundaries anymore, because for me it feels like that's like a wall, where I would, I put walls up around my heart, and um, you know as much as they're important, I think exactly what you said, rather than for me, rather than call them boundaries, I just put myself first and make a choice. Like when we said at the beginning of the conversation, that in every breath, in every moment, we've got a choice, and we can choose us. If something's coming up, like you said, like we've said, with the gifts and with the triggers and all of that, it's all, if we're creating our own reality, it's all for us. It's all an opportunity to choose again. It's all an opportunity to put ourselves first, and to recognize, whereas once we may have given our energy to that, and you can still give somebody the benefit of the doubt. It doesn't mean that you're cruel or unkind, but actually to keep engaging with energy that is draining, that is where you're literally saying what you need, what you want, or perhaps trying to engage with them in that way, and they just can't hear you because they're not resonating at the same frequency as you at that moment, or they've got enough of, like you said, they've got enough of their own shit going on, and they don't, they're just all up in their head, and and that's fine. but you don't need to go in there. So it's like you say, it's painful and it's challenging to do, because we want to help, we want to support, we want to, we love you, we care for you, we want to help. And especially as when you've been through a lot in your own life, and it's that natural service to others, especially when you've trained in any modalities or therapies or whatever it is, as healers, like you say, you want to help. It's a natural instinct to help. But also, I've seen there's so many of us who are naturally inclined that way, but have come through this whole journey of lack of self-worth, lack of self-esteem, and that's been the biggest challenging thing to learn. And having boundaries, like I say, or making that choice for ourselves to say, I love you, but I'm not going to engage in this with you anymore, because it harms me. It harms me to do so. I've used the analogy of going, into a hole. So we were all at the bottom of a big, deep, dark hole, and we were all there. And then I started going, I don't want to be at the bottom of this hole anymore, and started, and got to a place where I was making my way out. Then I got to the top and was like, oh my gosh, there's like whole other world here, whole other more experiences, and I don't have to be afraid and hide in the bottom of the hole anymore. I don't need to be in the dark and feel so crappy all of the time. I don't need to do that. But then I can see there's people I love, people I care about, who are still in the hole, and I'm going down and trying to say, come on, come up. But every time I go down, I might twist my ankle or graze my knee, or do something, and it hurts me to do that. And until it's like you say, then it's making the choice of, actually, I love you, but you're choosing to stay down there. I'm up here. If you want to come with me. And this is where we can just only be the example of the shift and the changed behaviour, be the example of, the healing and the recognising and the shift of consciousness, which is why these conversations are so important, because we're sharing our experiences with each other, how we've done it, and are examples of, you don't have to stay at the bottom of the hole. You don't have to stay in those repetitive cycles of behaviour where your own basic needs aren't met, or you're being hurt every time you with an interaction with a person. It's actually draining, the energy vampires, or whatever it is, taking your energy. It's an interaction, and it should be reciprocal and uplifting and loving and compassionate, and that's what we give to ourselves, isn't it? So when you haven't got boundaries, when you're making the choice to put someone else, before trying to fix or help or improve them, actually, it's like you said with that conversation that you saw, you brought it back into your own awareness of, oh, okay, maybe I've seen that because I'm being judgmental of them and what they're going through. Whereas maybe it's a gift for me to see that, where I am being judgmental, or where perhaps I might be a little bit out of balance, or where I'm being either deflated or not authentic and real in who I am in all of the time. Because we do, it's like I said earlier, anything that's not true is now coming up, and it comes up through our body, through our physical experience.
Yeah, I think there's a whole lot of it going on everywhere. The 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 sort of split in basically humanity that you can see, if it's not arguing over one thing or this or that, countries, race, the vaccine, everything, such division. And it's just about then, in our own personal self, making a conscious choice to not be involved in that, you know. But then again, it's all about knowing what truth and reality that you're in,
Mm.
and not, what way would I put it, not like when nobody can see, like whenever you think sort of it doesn't matter, that you're still keeping your own moral code with yourself,
Mm.
that kind of thing. It's, like, not like talk service where you're basically walking your talk, and you're not just, doing it when it feels good.
Mm.
So yeah.
Mm. It's like you said, that group of people that were having the chat, and all of that, and you could see where they, where they're presenting, they're having a conversation about something but presenting themselves in a completely different way. And again, that's the opportunity that we're being given now, or that we've got. It's not that we've been given, that we're creating now over again for ourselves in the layers of everything that we're releasing and letting go, is to be authentic and real and just be us, uniquely us, because there isn't, there's only one you, there's only one fabulous Ashley, there's only one amazing Kaz.
Yeah.
And so what, if we might not resonate with everybody, we might not be everyone's cup of tea or whatever, but that's not, it's not really any of our business. Whereas before I would, be juggling so many balls and so many people and so many relationships to feel that worth, to feel, to feel good about me. And quite often, then people are, if you don't put yourself first, if you're not authentic and true to who you are, it's, you're just harming yourself. It's, you're abusing yourself by allowing that to continue, by, by not being real and true to who you are. And I think this is all just, it's an amazing opportunity. Just seeing the time, it was 15:55, 5:55. Gorgeous.
Wow.
Gorgeous.
You know,
Synchronistic numbers. Synchronistic numbers. Can I just go back for a minute and because this might be helpful for someone? I'm just feeling that, when you said about guidance, and you sort of did this about this awareness, can you describe how that is for you, how that comes through for you? Because this is something that a lot of people are opening up to now, isn't it? Their own guidance or whatever. So if you could describe how that is for you, I think that would be really helpful.
Yeah, and even as you're speaking, I do feel like it is a very important point. So the way I would describe it is we all have it. It's your own inner guidance system. It's your own intuition, which may be connected to the higher self, or your guides, whatever it may be. It's just basically, I'll put it this way, it's like higher wisdom, higher knowledge. It's like the right thing to do for you, whether you choose to do that or not. So this little voice that I had back, say, years ago, it would be there, but it would be quieter. So it would be a whisper. And that's what way you're going to generally get it with yourself. It's like whatever you're doing or whatever behavior or whatever choice you're going to make, you are still going to have, it's like, to me, it's like dual consciousness. And one of the consciousness streams that you have is your ego. Now, ego is not a bad or dirty word. It's just your awareness, your this present day awareness. And then you have like your higher awareness, and they do work in tandem. And I know I've shared this one before, but one of them, I one of my ex-partners, this ex-partner that was quite dangerous is the only way I can describe it. And I was so in denial and so not listening and pushing that out. And we had split up. I just didn't care about myself, to be honest, whether I lived, died, anything. I just didn't care. Didn't care. And he had phoned me up and sort of said, if you don't take me back, I'm going to kill you, and I'm going to kill your family. And I just went, you know what? No, I am. I'm gonna take you back, and I meant it. And I got off the phone, and I just like, ugh, an absolute shudder. And it was like, you have made the wrong decision. Now you would have to be pretty stupid not to realize somebody saying that it's pretty bad, But I was so in denial. But that one came like a freight train. Stop, stop! You're doing the wrong thing. Really loud. See, whenever, bit like now going on in the world, it's maybe a different comparison, but things are getting turned up. So the things that are happening now are becoming so amped up, is the only way that I can sort of see it or describe it.
Mm.
That inner guidance voice, it's getting louder. It's getting louder for people. So for me, like the guidance voice, it's kind of like, I would describe it as, it's like the lion and the lamb. Okay, so the lion is your ego. It's the mind chatter. It's the, oh, what have I got to do, or I'm anxious today, or all of this that goes on, the monkey mind. And then you have the lamb, who's gentle, it's quiet, and it'll always whisper the purity and the right way to go and the best advice. And then, it's up to you. One's very loud and one's not so loud.
Mm.
But this is the one we should be listening to. But what I'm saying is where we are now, this is what I would have said in general, but where we are now, the situations we are in, and I mean, even just going to the grocery store, right? You are being confronted with a lot. And that inner guidance system, it's like, and I'm not even getting into any of the world events or the stuff that's going on today. We would be here all night. But we are being called with every action, with every act of compliance or non-compliance. We are basically choosing the reality that we're creating. And people don't get that. They think, well, I'm only doing it this once, or I'm only going here, or I'm only doing this. No, who are you hiding from? The universe, your higher guidance. It doesn't work like that. You have to stay authentic to yourself. And the more you do that, the more guidance you get coming in. For me, I feel it like, I feel a sense of, there's not even no way I can put it, like somebody at your back, or sometimes a breeze, and words, and always beautiful words, kind words, uplifting, the right thing to do in any given situation. And that's how you know you can trust it. Your ego, your monkey mind will try and talk you out of things. Again, another example of mine, but I recently put on a workshop. Okay, now I've done lots of different workshops, but they're always with somebody else. So this was, I got the clear guidance that I need to put on this workshop. But then my monkey mind was going, what if nobody comes? But what if this? What if that? And it was very, very stressful. I'm just like, yeah, I can't do this. I'm just not doing it. I'd advertised it, I'd put it out, and I was sitting on my bed going, why does this have to be so difficult? This is so stressful, And then I just had this really clear, and it just felt like the God moment, okay, God source, whatever you want to call it. And this moment, sitting in my bedroom, and this clear guidance came down and said, but what if you, by putting on this event, is helping others to get on their path of self-actualization? And what if you, by putting on this event, are you're stepping into your divine self and your life purpose? Now, when you say it to me like that, it sounds a lot better than me going, no, 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 like this. And I just went, right, we're doing this, it's done, there's no doubt, there's no faffing around, there's no getting out of it. And I did it, and loads of people turned up, and it went amazing. And I just went, see, if I had backed out, and if I had listened to that doubt and that fear and when it would come and all this, I would have missed out on this beautiful experience. And that's it. You gotta listen to the higher guidance, people. We all have it.
And by you being the example of that and overcoming those fears, because that's what the ego does, that's what the mind chatter does, isn't it? We've had that programming of, and not having lack of self-worth and self-esteem and all of that, and we're not good enough and I'm not worthy and all of that. But when you do come back and breathe and be in that present moment, and some people might call it your why, in training courses and that, don't they? They've sort of said in the personal development, but find your why. And again, that's really just bringing your attention and your focus back to yourself and your heart, and why am I doing this? What is the opportunity here for me? Because it is all for our own opportunity, and then the ripples from that. Being sovereign, being an example of, like you said, going to the supermarket and doing what feels right for you without judgment of anyone else. Everyone else has got their own mind, their own choices, their own journey, their own reason why they're here. We don't know. We haven't walked in their shoes. We don't know what they've experienced before in this life or in past lives or anything else. We don't know. Yeah. We can only do us and bring it back to, like you said, personal responsibility. I'm getting goosebumps. Personal responsibility, and listening to that calm inner voice of, because I used to think it was like, when you're channeling or whatever, that it was literally like, you would really, really clearly hear the voice of someone or something else. And it's not quite like that, is it? It's that calm. It's like you said, the beautiful lamb. It's the You've got the or the wolves, isn't it? It's the
Right.
there's that
Yeah.
analogy of the wolves, isn't it? Which one do you give your attention to? Um, and it's that calm inner voice, and it's back to the same things of what do I need? Come back to your own heart, come back to your breath. Even though with tapping, even though I feel like anxious, stressed, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. It's giving yourself that validation. It's coming away. I call it with the mind chatter and the monkey mind. Even with being mindfulness, it's mindful. So your mind is
Yeah.
full, and I say bring it down to your heart. Make it heartfulness, and listen to that. Bring it down from the mind chatter and the monkey mind, which is all there just to protect you, but it's giving yourself permission and giving yourself knowing that you've got a choice, knowing that you're sovereign, knowing that you can speak your truth, knowing, that inner knowing and wisdom, bringing it into your heart, and in whatever way that looks like for you. Just like with meditation, meditation is focus. It's not, you don't have to sit, in Buddha pose and and it not everybody meditates like that. Somebody might choose to go for a run. I did a beautiful thing this morning when I was having a shower, actually, because we do I've taught shower meditations, and there's some beautiful
Mm-hmm.
ones where you can imagine the shower is light, and it's washing away anything that needs to go, but it's just bringing your focus into that moment. But what I found myself doing today, which I have done before, but I was really present with it, and it was so nice, was just letting the water hit the back of my crown. So your crown is actually here, not on here. So your crown is actually is here, and I just let the water hit my crown. But as it was doing that, it was tinkling on my ears, and I just for a minute I was like, right, be present, feel, actually, rather than imagining something else in a meditative state, in that flow of the water. And I always get beautiful channelings and stuff like that, beautiful guidance and messages when I'm in the shower, because water it's conducts. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome, isn't it? And it's emotion as well, so it lets you feel and move with the flow. It's so much about water. But as it was touching my ears, I just was like noticing how that felt on my ears, how the water felt on my body, and then I was breathing, and I was just enjoying that moment of complete presence. There was nothing else going on, and it was so lovely. And it's like you said, that calmness, that presence, that being in the moment, and listening to the calm voice wherever it comes from. Like for you, like you said, it comes in different ways, perhaps at different times. It's not a big booming voice, but it's actually, once you bring the mind chatter into your heart and be present, you know it's that's the guidance, whatever the is. Sometimes it's your own voice that you hear, sometimes it's a picture that you might get in your mind, sometimes it's a feeling that you might get, that this is resonating, this is the right thing to do, I know what I've got to do. And then you might get some thoughts and mind chatter come up of fear, because fear is good still, it's still there, to allow us to it's the gift again. It's another gift of the things that it could be programming, the things that we've been told that is a lie, but it still gives us the opportunity to move through it, doesn't it? you know
Yeah.
Move through that fear and listen to your own inner guidance in whatever way that comes. Try and bring you focus, like you said, on the beautiful breeze in the park, not the arguing couple that's over there and that's distracting you. And bring your attention and your focus back into now, and what is there for you, and the beauty, I suppose, in that present moment, and then doing the next right thing and the next right thing, until all of a sudden you're just present all of the time, and that's when you're in flow, isn't it?
Yeah. Even as you were speaking there, I had a very clear picture in my mind. And it's sort of, about fear, moving through fear. And it's like that opposition. I was seeing clearly, like a beautiful table that's a bit, say it's just been cut or carved. And it was about it being sanded down. Now, obviously, the sanded down part, I'm sure that doesn't feel great for the table. But then the beauty of it thereafter, nice and smooth. But that was strange. It just came in clearly there. But
Yeah, yeah.
anyway.
That's moving through the crunchy.
Yeah, moving through the crunchy. Love it.
Is that
Very good.
so? Do you reckon that's a good way to wind up then? We've been
Yes,
we've been chatting
yes.
for about an hour, I think, have we?
And it's absolutely flew by.
I
One
know.
thing, it's been crazy. One thing I can leave on, I am really excited for the weekend because I haven't really shared about the two other wonderful ladies that I'm, are going to be
Oh
facilitating.
yeah, please do.
So we've hired out all. It's beside a beautiful forest. It's called Ancragan. There's a forest. There's these quaint cottages. We've hired out the whole restaurant, the workshop, the workroom, and it's just going to be a beautiful experience. I usually myself travel to the Arthur Findlay College in England, and just with everything world events, I just don't think that's going to be feasible for I don't know how many years, 1 year, two,
Mm.
whatever. So we're just sort of creating, not creating our, we're creating our own offering, to
Yeah.
the world. And I'm going to be taking the psychic mediumship, spiritual hypnotherapy journey. We're going to go back to the spirit world in the essence before we started and came here. So that's going to be great.
Wow.
And just practices. I'm working with Sam Montgomery and Evie Murray. And Sam is going to be doing cosmic channeling and light language. And she is epic. She's wonderful. We sit in a wee circle together. And also Evie Murray, she has a long list of attributes. She is a healer. She's a masseuse, medium, also psychic. We're all psychic mediums, and we just have. She's going to be taking like Energy 101. I can't remember her other workshop, but it's going to be awesome. It's on all of our pages. It's just been released today, and it to me, I want to, part of what this weekend is going to be about is building community, having positive experiences, connecting more with our authentic self, connecting with our higher self and our higher elements. If I can't go away and experience that, I'm going to create my own here, not just myself, obviously, the ladies included. So I'm really excited for that coming up. And just thank you so much. I love your stuff, your videos, and thank you for the help with the tapping, and thank you for the invite.
Oh, you're very welcome, love. It's been, yeah, it's my pleasure, and thank you as well. Been just so awesome, and for that space, I'd love to. I wish, I'm sure it'll come into alignment at one point to come over to Ireland and experience that. But how amazing that we can have these conversations more outward these days without it being, that we're a bunch of bonkers wackos.
Yeah.
That actually, it is more the way to be, and helping and supporting each other, walking each other home. It's gorgeous,
I
eh?
love that.
Yeah,
Walking each other home.
beautiful.
Stunning.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so huge hugs, darling. Thank you so much for being here, and yeah, well, let's do it again soon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Speak
do it
soon.
again soon, and best of love and loads of love for your event and for all of that. Just sounds amazing. We'll put notes again. We'll put things for everyone to share, and wish everybody loads of love and luck. And there's what was I going to say? Sorry, I've just lost my track. Then we're trying to wind. Do you know what? I'm always rubbish at winding these things up. Anything, even when I'm leaving a message or something to somebody, like a voice note or whatever, I'll hum and ha because there's always something I feel like I've forgotten or something. But it's all perfect and divine. What I was going to say is there is help and support on our websites. If anybody's, if I mean, hopefully that you might take some nuggets from what we've spoken with about today, and that you can come through whatever you're going through and experiencing right now. You can come through this, and you will be okay. There is so many people like us who have got safe spaces, tools, techniques, support, that are ready, trained, and open to share and help and support, like you say, and help walk each other home. It's all there, and if we can't help you, we can point you in the right direction of somebody else, can't we? So yeah, it's just a bit of reassurance, really, that it is all happening for a reason. And the crazy, it needed to be something that was so big, it needed to be something that affected the planet, so that we could all make these choices and come back to who we really are. And
yeah.
and yeah,
And when you look at it from that perspective, it's a blessing in a way.
yeah, it's another gift.
Another gift.
Yeah.
Another one of those gifts.
The shower of shit that we transmute into sparkles.
Well, that's it. The alchemy.
Yeah.
Golden.
Oh yeah. See. Oh, I get such goosebumps all the time. Alchemy. Beautiful, beautiful. Thanks so much, my darling. I'm going to stop recording now. If I can see how to do it. And yeah. Bye, everybody. Thank you. Loads of love. Mwah. Thank you for being with us.
Bye.
Thank you.